What's going on, guys? David King here. So obviously, if you're watching this video, my new preset pack has dropped. It's called Film Vibes. My last one was mainly for architecture. That one was LA Vibes. That was kind of my inspiration for it. The architecture that I see here around in Los Angeles. This one is mainly focused on, you could use it for anything, but it's mainly focused on portraits, that type of thing, skin tones. My last presets were basically just for architecture. Once in a while, you could throw it on a portrait or something, it might look decent, but for the most part, if you threw it on a portrait, it would look super crazy. But these ones, they're basically meant for portraits, street photography, that type of thing. So it contains 10 presets in total. There's 7 color, 1 black and white, and 2 different grain adjustment presets. It also contains the mobile version of the presets in DNG file format so that you can use them in your Lightroom mobile. It's for Adobe Lightroom Classic 7.3 and above, which means it's any Lightroom when they converted to the XMP file format instead of the Lightroom template format. So 7.3 and above, you'll be fine with these. So yeah, I pretty much crafted these while being inspired by some of my favorite film stocks. They're not necessarily meant to emulate a specific film, but instead they're kind of my interpretation of what I would want in different film looks. So I kind of wanted them to have some subtle greens, nice soft skin tones, and most importantly, like a consistent look that can help you throughout your workflow. So the presets aren't super crazy when if FV1 Film Vibes 1 isn't going to look totally crazy and opposite than Film Vibes 7. I wanted them to kind of be able to all be cohesive, something that you could use. I know a lot of people on Instagram, they like their feed to kind of have that cohesive feel, everything flow together, and that's what I kind of paid attention to while making these as well. They're all different, but they'll all, go together. Same, but different. You guys know what I'm saying. So yeah, I kind of focused on the greens, the skin tones, and the consistent look. And but they'll give each photo a unique look without overpowering them with exaggerated contrast or saturation that I see in a lot of presets that people are putting out. That's just, some people like it. It's just not my style. So I hope you guys enjoy using these as much as I have. I've been using these for quite a while now and just fine-tuning them and tweaking them to the point where I felt comfortable putting them out for you guys. But the main tools I tried to put a what's the word I'm looking for, like a focus on, is just your white balance and exposure. So you could take your raw file, set the raw balance, and then expose it properly, and then you should be fine just clicking away on these presets and them looking great. And then you can go in there and fine-tune them to your own taste and stuff like that. And if you do get these presets and you're posting to Instagram or whatever, use the hashtag davidkingfilmvibes, and I'll constantly be reposting some of my favorite photos that you guys are using my presets on. So I want to do a little tutorial, like I said, to show how you can use these presets in a variety of photos. So I'm going to jump into Lightroom. I have different portraits. I have some street photography. I had a bunch of people send me photos. So guys, if you send a photo and you see it in this little tutorial, thank you. I have photos of dogs and that type of stuff that you'll see here too. So and I have them. I have some Sony files here. I have some Canon files. I have files straight from the iPhone. So that's what we'll see. This is one of my pictures I took. I actually really liked coming and doing a horizontal type of look like this. Obviously, as you could see, the white balance is totally off. It, when you're shooting against the blue like this, when you have auto white balance on, it's gonna throw it towards the warmer side. If you have a red background, it's gonna throw it towards the cooler side. So something like this, I'm gonna cool it down significantly. We'll probably go like right here. That's not too bad. Now it's obviously a little towards the pink, so we gotta fix it something like right there. And I do tend to underexpose just because I like to make sure I capture as much detail as possible. And a lot of people like to overexpose. I do like to overexpose in post, if that makes sense. I like to underexpose so I can get as much detail as possible. And then I like to push, like my exposure as much as possible. But with this one, I want to keep it around like a negative or a 0.8, something like that. And then here's my previous presets, the LA vibes. Here's my film vibes. Let's do, so you can just go through here. I like how it gives you the actual preview on the main window now instead of, so you can see here some subtle differences. But again, if you posted, separate photos in your feed with these, which I like this one the best for this photo, they would all be pretty cohesive. So something like that. Obviously I'd go in Photoshop and get rid of these and do something with their eyes to bring a little more into it. But I'm just going over the presets for right now. So that was, I think I did a 06 on that one to get it like that. And obviously I'm not going to be going in here fixing these lines horizontal. That would take forever for you guys. I just want to show you what the presets can do on something like this. So in this one, I feel like the warm balance is good to go. I'm going to bring up the exposure the same. I already have it up on here. So it's from editing the photos earlier to put them up as previews. And we'll do, again, we can come through here. Check out the different looks. The F2, the FVO2, Film Vibes 2 looks pretty good. But I like this one. The warm shadows. I do have some split toning in some of these. If you don't like them, you can turn it off. See the difference? It's not too noticeable, but in the shadows down like here in the corner and maybe like in here, there's already some red or some warm colors from my tone curves in there, but I bumped it up a little bit in the split toning. So yeah, something like this, super easy. Again, all I did was I didn't even touch the white balance in this one. I just fixed my exposure. Again, I thought I reset these, but this is beforehand. We'll reset all of these. You know what? Let me, sorry guys, come through here. We'll do these. Now it wants to freeze. That's awesome. Reset everything. There we go. Now I can actually show you. So again, this was before. I'm going to throw this at like a 33. So I guess I did adjust this. Let's do a -8 on that. Exposure, let's bump it up to a 0.8. And then now we could throw that on there. And if you wanted to, you could bump the exposure up a little bit. But there's already some harsh whites in here, so kind of leave that as is. There's another one of my favorite photos I got of my buddy Keon, rapper extraordinaire. If you haven't heard of him, you need to go check him out. Keon Bell on Instagram. XIANBELL Bell. So this was after an interview we had at, I want to say this was Slacker Radio, or it might have been BPM Supreme, a DJ pool type of thing. I like this white balance. Let's do a little 2 in the, let's do an 8. Again, let's bump this up to like a 1. See what it looks like. No, a little bit, 1.8. There we go. Exposed for him. See, a lot of this is blown out, but that's okay. I kind of like the vibe of this one. And let's see. Take a look here. See, all these were hard. These ones. This has some nice like yellow, slight oranges in the highlights, and in the shadows a little bit. This is more white in the highlights, maybe a little bit of blue. Again, some warmer colors, but a little desaturated as well. And then this is even more desaturated, like a really old film type of look, but I like the '07 on this one. And like from there, I'd call it. Maybe if I wanted to raise some shadows a little bit, maybe. But I kind of like this overexposed look. If you wanted to bring it down, you could do that too, or bring it up a little bit, whatever you want to do. This is another shot I took of my other friend, Tommy, Rated TG producer. He does a lot of Keon stuff, but he's worked with everyone you can name in the music business, pretty much, in the hip hop genre at least. And yeah, so this is kind of like an example for if you shoot concerts, that type of thing, where you're going to be in the dark and it's a lot of like lasers and just red and blue, purple, all these different color lights that they like to use. Here's an example of what you can do with that. So this, I'm going to warm it up quite a bit. 12,000. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Trying to get like a semi-realistic, close to skin tone. And then this, I'm gonna let's do this 0.3 a little bit, yeah. And then this one, yeah, right off the bat, I like this one. Good to go. I would probably come in here with a brush and darken all that you can see Keon in the back there. I would probably darken all this up so it kind of like focuses on Tommy. You know, it would look really nice. Everything dark and kind of just like a light on him type of thing. Here's another shoot. So let's do a little too warm for me, at least, anyways. Nitpicking here, just bring it down one. Let's do exposure. Seems like a lot of my exposures plus 0.8 is kind of like the sweet spot for me. And again, whatever, if you shoot overexposed or underexposed, it shouldn't really matter for these presets because they're not affecting the exposure at all, or the white balance. And let's see here, just click through here. That one's nice. That one's nice too. Kind of like, I like that one as well, and that one. I'm gonna go with this one. And then again, call it done. I would probably fix these lines with some grid guides. Maybe bring up the shadows a little bit. I know a lot of people that just love to crush their blacks. I'm not a fan of that, but you can easily do that with these. Whatever floats your boat. Same here. Let's go through. See if I can warm this up a little bit. Let's do my sweet spot exposure. Looks about right to me. One looks pretty nice. Three looks. Again, it's all personal taste. You can kind of just see what each one would look like, and then get in there and fine tune. I'll probably go with like this one on that. And again, just fixing your white balance and exposure, and you should be able to click through here and they should all look decent. Some are, just depends what you want. Obviously, if you want to click on this one, you're going to have your, like if you picked a 07, it brings your shadows and darks down. So I mean, if you like that look from the get-go, you can bump that up, and for me it like totally changes the look of it, which I like that. And this one is something I would bring in. You guys might think I'm weird for doing 13 by 19, but that's what I print at. So that's what I like to, I print on 13 by 19 paper for the most part. So I like to crop at that ratio. And then obviously Instagram is a 4 by 5. So I try and keep in mind that I'm going to lose some of the image. And so on Instagram, I would just probably lose from here up. And I would keep something like that. Just bring it back up like that. So when you drag it in there, it obviously it lets you drag it around and decide what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep. And let's do a little one. You know what? Oh, let's get rid of this. I'm gonna do this one in black and white, and just adjust from here. Yeah, let's bring that down. That's what I thought. All right. Let's bump up the exposure. That's actually pretty nice right there. It reminds me of some like old. Old like vintage black and white type stuff. Maybe something a little brighter like that. That's what I like. And then this, I might. Where's grain? I have two like kind of like 35 millimeter equivalent type of grains that you'd see in here. At least this one. This one's like bumped up a little bit, which if you want to get like a really old nostalgic type of film grain, I like that a lot actually on some photos if you're going for that look. I think like on this one, the black and white, it gives it that really old, something that you may have shot, you know, in the 60s or something like that. Yeah. Let's go back up here. Let's warm it up just a little bit. Last one probably just gonna bump up. Yeah. 2, 4. We're at 3. And again, just kind of. That's what I like about having these all kind of be cohesive as well, because you don't have to stick like, oh, I got to do this whole, you know, set with FVO1. Like, no, you can jump back and forth. It's not that big a difference. I know a lot of people might want to keep the whole set the same, but you don't have to worry so much about like your grid, your cohesiveness of like your Instagram page. I know a lot of people, it's like every single picture they edit exactly the same, and like some stuff it looks super dope on, and then it's like other stuff they're forced to do it because they want all their pictures and all their grain to look the same, where it's like, dude, if you would have just done something a little different for that photo, it would have looked so much better than just being forced to make it look the same as everything else. Some of my favorite photographers, I feel like, are guilty of that. I love their stuff, and then there's some picture that's like, why did you choose to edit like that? You know, and the only reason I could think of is they just want to keep everything cohesive and look the same, where it's like it didn't really make sense type of deal. I kind of like that one the best. Again, I'm not gonna. I know it's not level and all that stuff, but we're just showing the presets here. I can do 45, something like that. Bring this down. Great, you guys are gonna hear the dog in this video, and this is one of my buddies, Donnie. DJ. He's a model, signed. I like Cool Off the Get-Go too. I've only really ever like looked at this photo as a. I've only looked at it as a black and white because I just really love it as a black and white. Maybe crank up the shadow just a little bit. Get a little bit more of his face in there. So we have 13.9 again. No, now I'm getting whatever. Something like that. I would bring him up. Again, I would touch up his eyes, bring a little life to them so they're not just black. But yeah, something simple like that. This picture is super crisp and black and white, but it also looks pretty good in here too. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. That looks pretty cool to me. This picture was shot by one of my good friends, Kinji. His Instagram is at TSOBK. He's a photographer as well. Takes some super nice pictures. A little bit of everything, like me too. He doesn't really kind of stick to one thing. But this is a shoot I think he did for, I want to say, a diaper bag company. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'll use this one a little too green for me. And a little, just bring this up. I'd probably come to the greens on this one and luminance and just bring these down. Probably just saturate them a little more too. Maybe something like right here. They're just a little bright, kind of takes the focus away from her. But yeah, simple. Threw that on there. Probably touch up her eyes too. Maybe even put, like a little filter over her, just to give her a little bit more attention on her face and not everything else. These really come in handy, guys, if you guys don't use, I'm always blanking on the word now. There you go, radio filter. See, it brought so much life to her eyes already. You can actually tell that they're green now, versus you can't really tell right there, but right here you can tell they're green. Looks nice, I think. Doesn't look, kind of looks like you might have like a reflector over on the side or something like that, but yeah, nice nonetheless. This is another picture by him. What do I want to do with this one? Let's see. Let's go through here. See, his are like pretty properly exposed from the get-go. Kind of just like exposes for them, which a lot of, it's the correct way to shoot. Get as much right in camera first, but to each his own. Something like that. To me, looks good already. Before, after. Should have been doing this for every picture. You guys are before and after. Before, I mean, that's night and day, literally. Another one by Kinji. Again, she's pretty properly exposed. I'm just gonna bring the white balance down a little bit. I know that wall's supposed to be white. It's a little tan, which some of you may like. Just not for this specific picture, for me at least. But she's looking pretty good. Getting some life back into her eyes. Her hair has a nice color as before. Everything kind of has like that orangish tan, hue to it. Before, after. Simple stuff. This is another one my buddy Kinji got. I think it's that Boy Boy rapper. I don't know if that's his name or a song, actually, but I think this was at some concert he did at a high school that Kinji was there for photographing. So I like this one. It's black and white too. Probably bump this up a little bit. In my black and whites, I like there to be a lot of contrast. I don't like my whites to be too dull. I like them to be as bright as possible without, looking like that, without looking ridiculous. I like to kind of keep what I would believe as realistic white and black skin tones. something like that. Again, it's crooked, something like this. It's another buddy, Bernard, who sent this picture. Mr. Burns on Instagram. I believe it's Mr. BERNSSS, 3 S's. And yeah, 3 S's. That's a cool little backdrop he has already that makes the picture look awesome. A few of these I like on there. I think I'm going to go with one though. See how crushed the blacks look? At least for me. Some of you guys might be like, that don't look crushed. But for me, it does. I want to see a little bit of the texture at least. Bring this up a little bit. Bring this back to 40. Even 35. But yeah, that looks awesome. And this is Falco. I have a dog, and yes, my dog has his own Instagram page. And this is one of our friends on there. They live in Dubai, and he's a Dutch Shepherd. His Instagram is Falco the Dutch, FALCO THEDUTCH. They have a lot of awesome pictures on there, and they sent me a few that I could edit for this video. So here's one of Falco, and again, these are iPhone pictures, so these presets don't just work with RAWs. You could shoot pictures with your iPhone and use the mobile version of the presets and get some nice looks out of them. This one was one of my favorites. You can pull this up, kind of like right here. They're a little grainy, or pixelated I should say, not grainy, because of how small the files are. And again, they're from the iPhone. Bringing some nice, so that was before. Look at that, super dull. Bring a little life into it. Another one, him just chilling, living that Dubai life out there. Something like that, simple. Before, after. Another one, I don't think I even edited this one before, but something like, all these look pretty cool. I'd probably go F6 on this one, or yeah, FVO6, Film Vibe 6. That makes it easier. And then these next pictures, next couple actually. This is by a photographer named Christopher. His Instagram is going to be what Christopher saw on Instagram, at what Christopher saw. Christopher Andro. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he lives in London. He has some awesome portrait work. If you check out his Instagram, again, it's what, WHAT, Christopher, CHRISTOPHER, SAW, SAW. And yeah, he just has some awesome work. A few of these editing, he has edited on his page already, so you can go and check out. His style is really awesome too. But here's a shot of someone sitting at a bar. I don't know if this was posed or. Let's give it some greens. Warm it up just a little bit. Pull up the exposure. Add some. That to me looks nice again already. I'd probably do another radial filter for him. Maybe a little more shadows, at least on this side of the face. So it's not so dark. And the nice thing about radial filters, you would never know. Still unused one. This is what it's. Just get that more contrasty shadow on there. But yeah, pretty simple. Another just like a candid shot. Someone who got on through. I'm not even gonna do this one. This is one of my favorite photos that he sent. I don't know what nationality she is, but it just reminds me of a French woman or something like that. I'm gonna warm this up. Something like that. Bring down the highlights, bring up exposure a little bit. Try to bring this up to like 35. Maybe bring this down to 10. Something like that. And I'd probably use the brush tool to hit the eyes and give them a little more life, as I like to say. This is a picture that Tommy sent, that one of, I think, yeah, he sent me a JPEG. That I don't want to say. I'm just checking something real quick. Okay, yeah, our buddy KP does a lot of behind the scenes photos for him. And this is one of the photos that he took. So, just kind of did something like this. Bring down, it's a JPEG already. Something like that. Bring up the exposure for their faces. White balance right here. A lot of oranges. Their skin tone. Look at the, if you see the Instagram, there's a lot of, obviously a lot of highlights in this. Bring up the, yeah, obviously too much. The only thing about JPEGs is, yeah, you definitely don't have as much editing room, as much dynamic range, retrieval or recovery as you do with a RAW. So this, I would probably come down here and maybe bring the oranges down to like a negative 15, maybe even maybe 25. See what that looks like. Yeah, I'd probably bring this up to like a negative 15, something like that. I really do like these kind of like blown out looks. As long as they're properly exposed, the background kind of looks pretty cool. And there's another one he sent. I don't think I even, this one's pretty, it's exposed pretty well. Getting a lot of nice, this one looks pretty good too. See, obviously the lights up there are already blown out, but I would bring this up a little bit more. This one's raw. This is Christopher, what Christopher saw. This is one of his photos again. Something like that. Turn it off so you can see. But yeah, so like I said, you've seen a little bit of everything here. And yeah, that's the presets. If you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up or DM me on Instagram. My Instagram's at I am David King. I am David King. You can hit me up on there. Ask me any questions you have. I'm happy to help you guys out. If you need help installing these presets, I didn't want to make a tutorial on that because there's a million tutorials on how to install the new XMP files for presets or how to import them into Lightroom Mobile. But yeah, if you guys DM me, I'll be happy to point you in a direction or give you a link of a video showing you how to do that. So again, I hope you guys enjoy this. Enjoy these as much as I have been using them. And yeah, if you post it on anything on social media, remember to hashtag DavidKingFilmVibes, and I'll be reposting some of my favorites. Cool, thanks guys.